This week on Focus Asia. A curse from God? Or have pesticides caused these children's deformities?
Hello and welcome to Focus Asia. From our studios in Hong Kong, I'm Susan Yu. Water is essential for sustaining life. Yet the UN Children's Organization, UNICEF, estimates 1/6 of the world's population does not have access to clean drinking water. Around 2 million children die each year from diarrhea and other waterborne diseases. But it's not just disease that can contaminate the water supply. Industrial waste, chemicals, and agricultural runoff are also major pollutants. Anjali Rao reports from Kerala, southern India.
Collecting water from the river. For millions of rural Indians, a daily ritual essential for survival. The river that runs through the villages in Kasaragod, southern India, is called the Swaga, or heaven in the local tongue. But for the people of Kasaragod, heaven has become more like hell.
People were actually attributing that there is some curse of God.
Mohana Kumar, a local doctor, began noticing this so-called curse more than 15 years ago. Muhammad Ashraf was one victim. Until the age of 7, he was an ordinary schoolboy. Then, inexplicably, he began developing tremors. He fell over at random, and finally, partial paralysis set in. The same symptoms now affecting his younger sister, Shahina. The children weren't alone.
Out of 126 houses were nearby my clinic. Out of those houses, I had 202 patients with cancer and other debilitating diseases.
The high incidence of illness and abnormalities in the villages began fueling Kumar's fears that something more sinister than superstition was at work. After noting much lower rates of health abnormalities in other similar areas, Kumar realized the problem was man-made. The answer lay above the villages at the Kerala Plantation Corporation's Kasaragod cashew estate. In operation since 1963, the estate spans 4,500 hectares and employs 130 workers. A multi-million-dollar business in an otherwise impoverished area. But for more than 20 years, the cashew crop was routinely sprayed from the air with the highly toxic pesticide endosulfan. Consumers of these cashew nuts have nothing to worry about, however, because of the thick outer casing that shields the nut while it's still growing inside. But for people of the neighbouring villages, there was nothing to protect them from the potentially devastating side effects of endosulfan. The villagers told Dr. Kumar they thought the endosulfan harmed the honeybees. But until then, it hadn't occurred to anyone that the pesticide might also be affecting them.
Initially, nobody believed. I found that all these symptoms of diseases is similar to that one caused by endosulfan.
The problem lay in Kasaragod's topography. The estate is situated at the top of a hill. When the plantation sprayed its cashew crop, fine particles would descend on the villagers and the Swaga River below, the primary water source for the area.
When the children heard the sounds of the helicopters, they would rush outside, and as the pesticide floated down, they would open their mouths and try to catch the particles on their tongues.
When the plantation carried out aerial spraying, the pesticide would rain down on us, and the whole area was covered by chemicals. We breathed it in. We drank the water it seeped into.
Convinced endosulfan was to blame, in 1999, Dr. Kumar alerted government officials and environmentalists to the situation. It was the start of a long battle.
Sometimes it feels just like punching a hard rock. They don't have eyes, they don't have ears, they don't listen, they don't see. Even the endosulfan company people say, which fool has recommended spraying using helicopters here?
His concerns reached environmental researchers, prompting them to conduct tests on the people of Kasaragod and the environment.
We found very high levels of pesticide endosulfan. They have it in everything that in their local environment. They have it in their blood, they have it in their tissue, okay? They have it in mother's milk.
A public outcry forced state authorities to order a temporary ban on the spraying of endosulfan in the area. But neither they nor the local plantation managers believed Dr. Kumar had proved the connection between the pesticide and the villagers' health problems.
There is so many talks, but no evidence. There may be health problems, but the study not proves that problem created by the endosulfan use.
Then how do you explain the health problems occurring in exactly the same 20 years as when you were spraying?
We are not supposed to comment on that.
Central government scientists also recently concluded there was no link between Kasaragod's health problems and endosulfan. Their findings put the abnormalities down to genetics and other environmental factors.
I think it would just take an extremely obtuse scientist to still say, I can't put one and one together. To me, it's criminal indifference. It's the fact that these levels that we found were just incredibly high.
India's pesticide business is a multi-million-dollar industry, and the country is the world's leading manufacturer of endosulfan. When used in specified doses, the chemical poses no threat to humans. Nevertheless, endosulfan has been banned outright in other countries. It is, however, still used throughout India. While aerial spraying also takes place in other areas, the procedure was carried out more intensively in Kasaragod. Elsewhere, the pesticide is distributed from the ground in a bush-by-bush process. We wanted to ask the national government and the Pesticide Manufacturers Association of India about the endosulfan issue and what they believed was responsible for the health problems found in Kasaragod. Both declined to speak to us. For campaigners, the task now is to win some kind of compensation or financial aid for the victims, like 11-year-old Shruti.
She is a growing child. The other leg keeps on growing, no? So every now and then this limb has to be lengthened. So it is very costly. So that's a very poor girl, no?
Many of the villagers say, however, that after years of being ignored by officials, they've given up hope of receiving any compensation. Daily life remains a struggle.
He's been crying like this since early this morning. I can't work because it would be impossible to have a job and take care of my son. We have to make do on a tiny amount of money.
My future is uncertain. I can't work properly because I've got neurological problems from working in the plantation. Not only that, I've got 7 children to care for. 2 of them are already stricken with illness. I don't know what's going to become of me or my
റിലീഫ് ആൻഡ് റെമഡിയൽ സെൽ എന്ന പേരിൽ 2006 ജില്ലാ പഞ്ചായത്തിന്റെ നേതൃത്വത്തിൽ ഒരു സമിതിക്ക് രൂപം കൊടുത്തത് സംസ്ഥാന സർക്കാർ അംഗീകരിക്കുകയും ചെയ്തു. 96 ലക്ഷത്തോളം രൂപയാണ് സെല്ലിന് ദുരിതാശ്വാസ നടപടികൾ നടപ്പാക്കുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടി ലഭിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത്. ഇങ്ങനെ 96 ലക്ഷം രൂപ ഈ സെല്ലിന് സർക്കാർ അനുവദിച്ചതിൽ 32,07,000 രൂപ മാത്രമേ കഴിഞ്ഞ 3-4 വർഷക്കാലത്തിനിടയിൽ, അതായത് സെല്ല് രൂപീകരിക്കപ്പെട്ടതിന് ശേഷം വിനിയോഗിക്കാൻ സാധിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളൂ.
കേരളത്തിന്റെ ഏറ്റവും വടക്കേ അറ്റത്തുള്ള ജില്ലയാണ് കാസർഗോഡ്.
ഇപ്പോഴും നൽകപ്പെടുന്ന സഹായം കൊണ്ട് ഒരു ചെറിയ അംശം ഭൂഗർഭ പ്രദേശം.
ഇതിന്റെ ഈ കേരളത്തിന്റെ ഏറ്റവും വടക്കേ കേരളത്തിന്റെ ഏറ്റവും വടക്കേ കർണാടക ജില്ലയാണ് കാസർഗോഡിനെ
കേന്ദ്ര ഗവൺമെന്റ് സമയത്ത്
ഇതിന്റെ ഈ ജില്ലയിലാണ് 13 നദികളുള്ള ഭൂപ്രദേശങ്ങളാണ്. അപ്പോൾ